it's so frustrating that when times are tough, like money-wise, that I can't just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to work a lot, so that'll make everything okay. Because if I work, I just make so much less money than my husband. And plus, the more I work, the less I'm able to handle other things that I'm also expected to do. No matter what, I'm always expected to do it. Like stuff like taking care of the kids and household things, you know? It feels so annoying. Like, I hate it, man. Because it's like, I have to make sure to do a good job on my end of things. Like, definitely do a good job cooking and packing the lunches and shit. Make it so that we can have a cheaper life in that way by doing things, right? And then and then he's got to work more. So I got to do a better job, not complain about it. And he's got to work, and he's definitely going to complain about it, which also makes sense because it's brutal. It's physical work that he's doing. It just sucks. I wish I could just work more. Especially where I'm kind of like, I'm spending a bit of money on me habit, you know? Maybe. It's probably not as much as alcohol was. But I haven't been a drinker in some time, like a decade. But I find that, like, weed was always had more of an addictive quality for me. Like, my problem is, whenever I see someone doing a drug, or if I'm around someone, it just makes me want to have something, too. And something at a similar level kind of feeling. I mean, I could somewhat resist things, but it is difficult. So, like, to be around someone who's smoking weed, it makes it hard for me to not do it if I'm not smoking. And it's kind of hard to be around people who are drinking, but I was fine for so long. And now my husband has quit drinking too for quite a while. He's doing so good. Like, it's so great. And it makes me feel like a bit of a fuck up for how I am now. Like, that I've been smoking so much weed. And he seems quite annoyed. He said something like, we need to be clamping down on spending money, and I'm like just getting high all the time. It's like, fuck. I know, I feel like I'm annoying, definitely. But I'm also kind of feeling a bit like I'm doing all the shit that needs to get done. So can I also just get high? Because I want to. I know, I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to have to cut her out. I mean, I quit drinking, but I'm much more attached to weed. It has a certain effect that I really like. I don't know, I kind of have a cycle when I try to quit smoking weed that after a while, this is definitely a bit personal, but after like 2 weeks, around the 2 week mark, I am just like, I can't handle it anymore. Like, I guess maybe it's like the emotional ups and downs that I just have. Like, I think it's a temperament thing, right? I just have high emotional peaks and lows, I think. Or, well, it's associated with borderline, I think, as well. So, yeah, it's just hard to hang on, especially during the lows, obviously. And by that point, I just always feel like it's not worth keeping on going with my attempt to quit, and I'm just going to smoke again. But anyway, last time when I quit for quite a while, and I was also on this medication. It's an antidepressant. So, I was seen as being doing good, right? I think I could tell my memory got better, too. And now my memory's it. My husband is, like, pointing out how my memory is bad, and it's like, oh, fuck. And he's like, it's because of the weed. Yeah, it's probably because of the weed. And I don't know if I should really be smoking that much with my medication. I mean, it says something about it, like get to know how it's affecting you before you operate machinery or some shit. But I've been on it for a while. This medication I'm on is a SNRI. It's a serotonin. No, it's a selective norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. SNRI. Yeah, that's right. And I've been on it for a bit. So I'm going to go see my doctor and talk to them again, like my family doctor, and say what I think about how the medication is working. But I don't know what to say. I so don't know what to say. And I wrote in my journal a bit to try to figure out. But the thing is, here's what happened. So I was on this medication for a while. At first, I felt very anxious. It was a difficult time at first. But then I got over that hump at the beginning. And then I seemed like I was doing okay. But after a while, like somewhat recently, well, with the move also, it was so stressful with the move. Right around the time of the move, when all that shit was happening, I started smoking weed again. So it's like all the change and stuff. I don't know. It was a factor probably in breaking me. And then I started smoking again. And then I started smoking so much again, so fast. Like an addict does, right? I just went back to doing it just as much as I had been. And yeah, fuck. Like, it is a bit concerning. And obviously it would be expensive to smoke that much all the time. Yeah, I don't know how it would stack up against beer. Like, he had been smoking this, but anyway, there's not, like, we don't need to compare. There's no reason to do that. Point is, we need to save money now. I should not spend money on drugs. That definitely sounds sound, doesn't it? Reasonable. Sane. Not to bring that into this. Like, I don't know, would people see me as a drug addict for just I smoke weed? But the thing is of how hard it is for me to put it down, and it is hard for me to put it down. Difficult. But I have to, obviously. But more than just putting it down, I also have to keep it together as a person, because I'm a goddamn parent, so keep it the fuck together, right? In front of your kids, and just actually have it together, more than just a facade of having it together. Yeah. Needless to say, I do think that having intense mood swings does not help me to seem like I'm keeping it together. Yeah, I've been offered therapy for BPD, the therapy that I've heard a lot about, DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. I've done CBT, and I did not like it, I don't think. I did not like the therapist, which I think is not the best. And I did an anxiety group thing, which was an online thing. But like I said, I didn't like the therapist. I did find it educational. I found the group aspects to be very difficult and so stressful to me, like super stressful. Like, I was getting stressed out before and after these things. And then that's how I found this recent group thing. It's a group phone call thing. This is a free thing, though. It's a mental health thing that you can get. It's free. And it's a group thing for parents. And it's just not going well. I know I could get one-on-one too, so I could, like, say, I just don't want to do it this way, I want to go to one-on-one. But I don't think I do want to go to one-on-one. I specifically went to group to avoid the idea of how, I don't know, I didn't want to do one-on-one. And I knew it would be hard to do group, and yeah, I hate it. I'm fucking super stressed out by it. I'm pretty sure my husband notices too, like how stressed out I am about these things that happen. It's so easy for me to feel judged, and I do feel judged. I feel like I want to be honest. I feel like I want to get the most out of these things. And also I have these, like, I probably just ridiculous fucking fears, like, I want to quit this thing now, which isn't a good feeling. But I think I'm just not in a good headspace, obviously, with getting high all the time, to be doing this thing, because I would just be shoving it in there and not doing it properly. Like, I can't be doing it right now. I need to do it at another time, maybe, or maybe I just think the whole thing is fucking useless. Like, I kind of think that I am a bad parent. Well, I've been afraid of that, obviously, for quite a while. And then people would say things, like when I would try, it was difficult for me to talk about with people because I was so afraid. But finally I brought it up to this friend who I had met at the park. She was also from Manitoba, so it was really cool to meet somebody who was from Manitoba too. So we were talking, she had a kid too. And I finally got up the courage to say something about being afraid about being a bad parent. I can't remember exactly what I had said to her, but people just can be so reassuring, and I don't find it helpful at all, because it's like you're saying, like, they're like, no, of course you are good. Or they could make the argument too that, like, if you were really a bad parent, you wouldn't even be thinking about it, like, you wouldn't even care.